Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to make a set of note cards. I want to make a little thank you gift for a neighbour, and so I thought I'd make a set of note cards for her, and I'm going to use the pre-prepped note cards, and they come like this, already scored and cut with the matching envelopes. And let me just show you in the catalogue where they are, because sometimes it's one of those things that you might miss. Let me just see. These ones here. So you can get them in very vanilla or basic white, and you get 20 cards and 20 envelopes for just under $10. So they're a really easy way to make cards, to make a set of cards, or you don't have to really prep anything. I'm also going to be using one of these paper pumpkin boxes, and here you get 10 boxes for $10.25 for just over $1 each, and I use them a lot. I make little sets of note cards. This is one of a set that I made last year, and they just fit in here perfectly. It is actually a food grade box if you want it to be, but I just make little sets, pop the envelopes in as well, and then it's a quick and easy little gift to give to somebody. Let's pop it. It fastens on its own. You don't have to make a belly band. You don't really have to do anything. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. So we'll start by making the box first. Oops. And this is how they arrive, all flat packed. You just need to take one out, and you can see that it has a very shiny side, and that's the inside, that's the food grade side. So all I do is I go over all of the folds, and I just go down them with my bone folder. It just makes it easier later when you're folding it all in. If it's already, it's already scored, but if it's already bent, it just makes it much quicker. So it takes a minute or two just to get it ready. Okay. You can just fold it with your hands if you don't have a bone folder. You can push along with something like a clear block. Just make sure you've got all of those little tabs and everything pre-folded. And then these little pieces, they pop out. You can poke them out with your bone folder, or a pokey tool, even a pen, whatever you've got on hand. Okay, now let's get rid of those little pieces because we don't need those, and they just clutter up the workspace. Okay, so this piece is going to be your lid, this one. So all you do is you fold these corners in, and these ones. You don't need to do anything with the top of the box, but you sort of need a third hand here. And then you just fold the edges over. And can you see how they've got these little lips on them? They fit into those holes where you've just removed that tiny piece of cardboard. Once you've got the first side in, it's really easy to pop the next side in. And it just pops in. Okay? And then these fold onto the inside, and these little pieces fold onto the edge there. So it makes a quick and easy little box. Let's undo that again. We don't need to do any more with that at the moment. I have pre-prepped lots of pieces already, and I've got my stamps all mounted, and I've got my paper all cut. I'm using this Flowing Flowers set, which, as you know, is my January focus because I love this set so much. It's in the January to June mini catalogue, the one with the windmill on the front, and it's this little set. It's a $34 set, and it's one of those distinctive inks, which means if you just stamp with a single colour, you get all these depths of colours as well. And it says here, this is my book that I was writing in. I've used it for my swaps, I've used it for some sponging videos that I've made, and some cards that I've already sorted, and I've used it for Facebook Lives. So I've been using it all of January, and I haven't run out of ideas yet. It's really versatile. It is a red rubber set, So it already has the cushioning on, so that makes it easier to stamp. Okay, so for the little note cards, this is the plain note card as it comes, and when they're folded, let's just fold that and go over it with a bone folder. When they're folded, they measure 3.5 by 5.5. And then I've cut some designer series paper. I've cut 2 different patterns, but you can see I've chosen the same colour. It's sort of the mint macaron green. This is from, let me see where I put my paper. Here we are. It's from that pattern party set. It's from this one. This is like a bumper set. I don't think I'll ever get to the bottom of it. It's one that comes if you have a large order and you get Stampin' rewards, you can order it. Or if you have a party and are a hostess, you can order it. But there's so many great patterns on it. So, and this is the one that I chose, the one with the spots on. And I've chosen some more paper because it's just the right colour from the hand-penned set. And I've chosen this piece. I'm not using the floral piece. It's too heavy for what I want today. I only want the more plain side, the back end sides, which are still beautiful. So I've already cut a lot of those as well. And all I'm doing is I'm attaching them to my base card, which is my note card. Okay, I've got 2 of the stripes, and I've put the stripes different ways. I've got 1 of the spots so far, and I'm just going to attach another one onto here. Let me fold that down again. It's still sticking out. No, that's better. Okay. So attach with any glue. I'm using a tape runner at the moment, my Stampin' Seal, but often I'll just use my liquid glue. You could use tear and tape, whatever glue you like to use. Okay, so I've got 4 bases all prepped, and you can see I've got a lot more paper ready because I'm going to make more than one of these little gift sets. The other thing I've done is I've cut a slightly larger piece, and that's going to go on the front of our box. So I'm just going to fold this in. Put those little edge sides, those little side pieces in. Okay, and this piece measures 3.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to attach it to the front like this. If you wanted, you could use your blending brushes and you could colour all of this, or if you have a brayer still, you could use it and cover all of it in a colour and then add layers onto it. They're really very versatile. You could put little strips down the sides here. You could even put some on the back to decorate the whole box. Okay, now for my stamping, I've cut these little basic white pieces, and they're 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And you'll see when they're on here, there's just the small border all the way around. So you just get that colour shining through. And I've inked up, I can move this now. I've inked up all of my sentiments that I wanted. I've used the Just a Note. I've made some for thank you. And I was going to make some that said send in a card instead of a text, but I forgot. But that's a really nice one too. Okay, so I've got a whole pile. Some say thank you, some say just a note. I'm going to choose sort of 2 of each, I think. Yeah, and I think I might choose so that I've got 2 portrait and 2 landscape. So I've got a thank you and a just a note landscaped. I don't know if I made a thank you go in this way. Let's see. No, I didn't. I didn't. Huh, okay. Let's just cut another little piece of paper and make one. So I'll just get my trimmer back again and a little piece of basic white. And we're cutting these down at 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I'm just going to cut the whole card in half at 4 1/4. That piece would work for like a card front if you wanted, because it's the perfect size. And then I'm just going to cut a little piece of this off at 2 3/4. And if you cut it this way, you actually get 4 card fronts from just 1/2 of the piece of paper. Let's get that thank you again. I thought I'd stamped them all, but that's okay. It's because I've chosen, I want one of each. Okay, so I've got my mint macaron, and just ink this up, and I'm going to put my thank you near to the bottom on this one. Oh, let's make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay, let's put that down and just clean this stamp off before we pop that one away as well. Okay. And then the only other thing I've cut a piece of basic white, and I've used this second largest die out of the scalloped contours dies, and I've already stamped that with a thank you at the bottom. Maybe that's why I was thinking I had one already inked up that went that way. Okay. And then I'm going to use just 3 colours. Oh, let's move that one. I should pop these over to one side, and so you can see what colours I'm using. I've got my Melon Mambo, I've got Flirty Flamingo, and I've got my Mint Macaron, which I did the sentiments in. And instead of stamping, I'm actually going to sponge, because I want them to have more than one colour. So I've got my Flirty Flamingo little sponge dauber, I've got my Melon Mambo one, and I've got my Mint Macaron here. And I'm just going to open all of these up. You could certainly just stamp. You don't have to sponge them. Just I wanted to have sort of 2-colour, like a 2-tone colour on my flowers that I'm making. So I'm going to start with some of the easier ones. Let's see. Well, in fact, they're all easy. So, yeah, they're all easy. So I'm just going to start with the Just a Note one. And I've got this stamp on. Now you can see that this has got leaves and flowers, and I don't want to stamp it all in the same colour. It would look really nice, tone on tone, if I made my note cards and just did, say, all in red, and even the leaves in red. That would still look nice. But for these, I want to have the green showing as well as the colour of the flowers. So I just need a little piece of scrap paper here, just in case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sponge on top of the die, on top of the stamp. So I've got my Flirty Flamingo first because that's my palest colour. I'm just going to dab a little bit, and I'm only going over lightly on the flower. I'm not pushing down so hard. And then I'm going to do these dotty pieces in the Flirty Flamingo. Doesn't matter if you get some on the leaf or anything, it really isn't going to make a difference. Okay, so that's the main part of my flower done. Then I'm going to get my Melon Mambo, which is a darker colour, and I just want to do the inside of the flower. Again, I'm not pressing down really hard, I just want there to be some colour there. And then I've got my little sponge dauber for the Mint Macaron, and I'm just going to do the leaves. And I'm just going to be a little bit careful near the flower, but honestly, if you get a little bit on the petals, it doesn't matter either. Okay, right, let's move that one just out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to make sure my paper's straight and my card front is straight. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this across, just like that. And when I take it off, you see how you get the different colours. You've got the Flirty Flamingo, and then you've got the Melon Mambo, and then the greens. And I'm going to put a little flower over here as well. So I've got my tiny flower, and I'm going to do just the same. I'm going to do it in 2-tone. You probably won't see much of it. I'm going over it first with my Flirty Flamingo. Then I'm going to put just a little dab, just a tiny dab in the middle of the melon mambo. And I just want to have just a little bit over there. That's a little bit lighter. I could have pressed a little bit darker, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let's do the same with this one. I haven't cleaned this off because I know I'm going to do exactly the same colours. So I've got my Flirty Flamingo again. These would be really pretty if you made a set of flowers and you had maybe a yellow with an orange and some pinks, maybe some purple flowers, so that it was a whole range, like a whole rainbow. Okay, then I've got my melon mambo, a little bit in the middle. Oops. And then my mint macaron. Put a little bit of green up there. Make sure this is straight. And this time, I'm just going to put it on a little bit more of an angle so that I can fit the whole lot in. That's it. Okay, move it down the card a little bit. And that's the design that I'm going to put on the front. So I'm going to take that one that I showed you that I'd already cut out with the dies. I'm going to ink it up again. There would probably be enough ink on here to reapply without having to put more ink on. But because it's going to be the front, I just want it to be a little bit darker. So there's my Flirty Flamingo. A little bit of melon mambo. None of them will be the same because some will have like a little bit more melon mambo or a little bit more Flirty Flamingo. I'm not sure if I did those little spots, so I'm just going to go over that again. Okay, and then this is going to be the front of our card box. So I know it's a slightly different size and it might go over like the little stitched element, but that's okay as well. Oh, that's so pretty. I love those two tones. Very pretty. Okay, so that's 1, 2. Let's see how we're going to make the others. If you only wanted to have the front of the box with the two-tone stamping, that would still look nice. I might just do the little flowers on here. So stamp the whole stamp, sponge it all up with my Flirty Flamingo, then a little bit of melon mambo in the middle. There's no greenery on this one, so I'm going to just pop these in the corner. It doesn't matter if it stamps off a little bit. Let's ink this up again. If you find that you're getting too much transfer of ink, just clean your stamp in between. Now, if you've got two very distinct colours, you don't want to get a lot of the ink on the paler ink pad. Let's turn this round so it's not facing the same way. Okay, so there's number 3. So what have we got? Just a note, a thank you. Let's see if we can put one of the bigger flowers on here, see what that looks like. Let's pop this one to one side. I haven't tried the bigger flower yet. It might be too big, and if it is, then we'll just make another one, a different one. So let's ink this up. I almost feel like this would be better on a landscape piece, but we can look. Little melon mambo in the middle. You can sort of see on the stamp where you need that darker piece to be. I'm going to put it on an angle again. I almost feel like this one should have some leaves. No, it's still really pretty. No, I still like that. Okay, so that's all the inking and the sponging that I'm doing for now. Let's close these up. And then I'm just going to move my little sponges out of the way so they don't fall over and go onto my cards. Okay. Here are my 4 card fronts, and let's see. I think I might do a couple of the cards because I'm going to do 2 landscape, 2 portrait. I might do one of each, 1 landscape spots, 1 landscape stripes, and then 1 portrait stripes and 1 portrait spots. So let's add these. I am going to put a little embellishment on at the end as well, but I'm only just going to put 1. You could put little gems in the middle of the flowers. You could do some more stamping on the inside. You could stamp on the envelopes as well. Oops. I don't want you to stick down yet. Don't pop down yet. Just come off. There we go. We weren't quite straight, but now it's straight. There we go. Okay, so don't they look pretty just with that little trim around? I like those very much. Let's find our next landscape one. See if I want it to go that way or if I want the stripes to run the other way. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It looks pretty either way. Let's pop that right in the middle. And then, so that's our 2 landscape ones. So next we'll do our 2 portrait ones. And last of all, is our little thank you one. You could make the front of every card the same as well. You don't have to do different ones. You know, a set of note cards that are all the same would be really pretty too. Okay, and then let's find the front of the box and finish that. So I've got this one here, and I'm going to put a little piece of ribbon round just to sort of jazz it up a little bit. It doesn't need ribbon to keep it closed, as you can see. And I'm not sure what I've got on my desk. I've got this soft succulent ribbon, which I think would work for the green. It's not too dissimilar. It's not exactly the same, but I could use this. Or what else have I got on here? I've got seam binding, which is probably a bit thin. Yeah, it's just a bit narrow and a bit too thin. I've got a paper clip. I've got that organdy ribbon. That looks very pretty too, because it picks up the greens and the pinks. Let's see, I think I might use that one just because it's got the green and the pink in it. Okay, so I don't know how much I need. I'm just going to sort of roughly measure. I need it to come around the whole box and then enough to tie a bow. I'm just going to trim it off here and find my ribbon scissors. Excuse my reach. Pop that one back. And then I'll put the cards inside before I tie the bow or attach that. So I've got my 4 cards and I'm going to get 4 matching envelopes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They would be pretty if you'd stamped them as well or added a little bit of the designer series paper. But I'm just going to pop mine in for now. And put my favourite one on the top. You could even make a little gift tag, and stamp the same on the front of your gift tag and then add that on. Okay, so I'm going to tie this up, and I want it to tie at the side, so I'm just going to move it over here I've probably cut too much ribbon, but that's okay. Oh, let's fold it the other way, just so we can still see the dotty bits. And I'm going to push that through. Pull this. I want it to be just a little bit bigger bow. There we go. Okay, and so I'm going to cut this one this way. I had a little bit too much ribbon. I won't throw that away because I'll be able to use it on something else. Okay. And then this piece I'm going to attach over the front, and you could put it on with dimensionals, and that would make it, you know, just stand out a little bit like this, and that would be really nice. In fact, I think I'll do that. So, might need quite a few just to keep it on there. I won't put any right across the middle because I know that's where the ribbon's going. And it will just go underneath there then. Let's put another couple here, just because we can. And take those backings off. And then I'm going to pop this over the front. Oh, I forgot to put the little designs on, didn't I? The little gems. I'm going to take them back out again in a minute. Okay, and let's undo this. I forgot to put them on. I'm just seeing them there sitting on my desk. So let's take those out again. And what I've chosen to use are these little brushed brass butterflies. That's really tricky for me to say. Brushed brass butterflies from the January to June catalogue. And I'm only going to put one on. One little butterfly on each. So let's find, where's my pokey tool? Here it is. Okay, let's find this. And I thought just one would make it look, you know, just enough really. So you can certainly put more on. Oh, isn't that pretty? Aren't they gorgeous? Oh, I like those. So, it doesn't matter where you put it, just on a little piece of the white space. Let's see. I tend to always put them at the right hand side, but let me try and put one at the left. Okay. So there we are. That's our finished cards, which I think are lovely made with this set. And the little butterflies just add that extra bit to it. I'm going to pop one on the front as well. There we go. And then pop them back away in their little box. Pop the sides in. Fasten it up again. What a nice little box this would be as well for something like Easter cards, or just a little set as a thank you for the bus driver or the teacher. They would be really nice. Tie in a little bow. There we go. So there we are. That's my little set of note cards using flowing flowers. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you'll give them a go as well, because it is such an easy thing to do. Thanks so much everybody for watching me. Take care, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye bye.